Welcome back, everybody. Teacher's Diaries here at Lightning ESL. Teacher's Diaries. Student name was Mary. Now, Mary, amongst the many international students I've dealt with over the decades, that's right, I've dealt with hundreds, if not thousands, of international students. I have, from all parts of the world. Their biggest scare, of course, is deportation, which simply means you've done something illegally against Canadian laws and regulations, and you were forced to go back to your home country, wherever that is. In this particular case, I was doing a class on business communication. Mary is one of my students. So everything's fine. Halfway through the semester, I'm walking down the hallway, and I see Mary crying like crazy. Crying really hard. Sir, I'm going to be deported. I'm going to be deported. I says, Mary, relax, take it easy. Let's find out what's going on. I went to a nearby small conference room. I did. And they sat there talking. She was crying her eyes out. I had some Kleenex, gave her some Kleenex. I said, what's the matter? I got a call. This is Mary talking. She got a call from an officer of Canadian Border Services at the Canadian border to the United States near Buffalo. I said, what's the matter? She's accused of trafficking drugs in a car to the United States. I said, hold on, let's get this straight. What happened? Officer so-and-so called me here in Toronto saying, you're hereby going to be deported back to your home country. They found drugs in a car. First of all, let's get this straight. I talked to Mary, and she said, somebody used my identity, registered a car, went to the border of the United States and Canada, and they were caught. The car had drugs inside the car. Yeah, this is a serious offense. Deportation for any immigrant who comes into this country illegally or performs an illegal act is very serious. They can go to jail, not just being deported, both. So, I contacted the officer involved in the situation at the Canadian border near Buffalo. I said, officer, this is Mr. Little of so-and-so college. What happened? The officer basically said, there was a car at the border. It was searched. And in the trunk, they found drugs. The car is registered to a girl named Mary. I won't give your last name. So now I understand the situation. Somebody somehow found her identity through a social insurance card, a credit card, something. She might have laid it out, whatever, borrowed it, something, and they found her name on it. She's the owner of that car trying to transport drugs into another country. That's how it happened. I talked to the officer for about half an hour to almost an hour. He said, Mr. Little, I understand this is identity theft. Her name's on the actual registration of that vehicle which tried to pass into the United States. The officer told me directly on the phone for Mary to go to the nearby police station and plead her case to the officer nearby police station. That's exactly what happened. So there is a police station near this college where I used to work. She went over there, talked to the officer, talked to the sergeant, whoever, came back. About 4 hours later, came back and said, thank you, because her deportation order was canceled on the spot. It was identity theft. And I've told many times over, thousands of students the same thing. Do not pass on your credit card, your identity, anything, passport to anyone you cannot trust. Your best friend might take your credit card, use all that money in your credit to pay for all their merchandise, whatever it is, and you have nothing left in your credit card. You have no money for living expenses, rent, school, whatever. That's why this is such an important case. Her name was Mary. I was the teacher involved in the situation, helping her out by not getting her transported in the sense of deported back to her home country. That's right. True story. Her name was Mary. It could have been any student, anywhere. International student came to Canada. They were found guilty of certain crime, illegally transporting drugs in this case. She was totally innocent of the charge. But remember, Immigration Canada is watching. They're always watching. Where you work, where you live, whatever you're doing, they are. Until you get your permanent residence card, work permit, etc., to live in this, work in this country. That's why they're watching. It's for a reason. Identity theft is very prevalent for a lot of international students. It really is. They'll borrow, the word borrow, your credit card. They'll borrow your social insurance number if you work. They'll borrow your passport numbers and so on. And try to prevent you from finding out later they took your identity in a sense. It's a very serious charge. It really is. So be safe, everybody. Be very careful of your identity in our country. It's the same thing I went to your country. Taking my identity in your country, same thing. There's rules and regulations of every country. That's why these things are very important. This is Lighting ESL, Teacher's Diaries. The teacher is talking to a student about deportation today. Till next time, thanks very much for listening. Bye-bye.